Wait, do you think it's Justice League in that case? Like, do you think they're working on that kind of game or like some kind of new IP?
I had heard it was Suicide Squad. I don't know if that's still the case,
Hmm.
but that was the thing that I heard a couple of years ago.
Over a year ago, I did a few videos entertaining the possibility of Rocksteady's next game being a Suicide Squad game, and a lot of people were like oddly antagonistic toward this idea, either because they felt like it was underwhelming or unrealistic. So today I'm sort of going to re-explain some of those points so that you don't necessarily have to go watch those videos again. And I'll also just sort of reaffirm why I still feel that this is the case. It's something that I haven't covered tons just because there hasn't really been any new information. I kind of stand by those original videos that I made. And also I just kind of put it on the back burner, even personally, just because I always have been under the impression that Warner Brothers Games Montreal's Batman game will come out first. And once we know more details on that game, I think that the details of the Suicide Squad game will be a lot more clear, if it is in fact what they're making. I want to make it very clear that I'm not confirming that we'll see a Rocksteady Suicide Squad game. I have no way of knowing that for sure. I'm just saying that we've had an insider from Kinda Funny Games say that he's heard that they're working on a Suicide Squad game, and it's the only IP that has not been deconfirmed by insiders and leakers. Titans has been deconfirmed. Justice League has been like deconfirmed as well. Superman has been deconfirmed by Rocksteady themselves. What we do know from job listings and from insiders is that this is indeed a multiplayer team-based superhero game, and we don't know what extent any of this is. My guess is that we'll see a pretty solid single-player campaign, but then there will also be a bunch of multiplayer features. And you know, obviously this made a lot of people think, oh, well, then it's Titans, but, you know, that has been deconfirmed very heavily by these leakers and insiders. They've straight up said it's not Titans, and that it is an established IP. So in other words, it's not like a DC Universe Online where it's like make your own superhero in this universe, and, you know, I mean, that could be a feature in the game, but chances are they're going to ship a AAA game from Rocksteady that has an established IP on it. And it sounds as though Suicide Squad is the case. So first of all, let's address the idea that this is an unrealistic idea. I don't think that this is unrealistic. There was actually a time at which Warner Brothers Games Montreal was working on a Suicide Squad game. And that was scrapped pretty early in development, right when Rocksteady would have been going into development on their next project following Arkham Knight and Arkham VR. And, I mean, that means that they've probably been working on this for 3 to 4 years at this point. You know, potentially even longer. We're not exactly sure how everything has lined up behind the scenes. All that I'm saying is that we went from a huge rumor that they'd be at E3 2018 with a Superman game to, you know, a pretty big rumor that they were working on a Titans game or a Justice League game, to all of that being deconfirmed, and then leakers and these insiders hinting that it would be Suicide Squad, not deconfirming it, and in fact really heavily implying that we were onto something this time. And again, we now have one of these insiders at Kinda Funny who is pretty much saying, yeah, from what I've heard, it's Suicide Squad. So that is the talk of the town. The insiders and leakers, if they are to be believed, it sounds as though there will be a Suicide Squad game from Rocksteady. Some people might point at the film and say, well, why would Warner Brothers want to make a game based on that flop? And the answer is that it's really not a flop. Suicide Squad is actually seen pretty much as a moderate success, especially for the critical reviews that they were so low that the fact that it still did pretty decent at the box office, and especially for being a film that wasn't about like Batman or Superman, like it's just based on these villains. The fact that it performed on par, if not even a little better, I don't know the exact numbers, than Batman versus Superman. That's kind of a big deal for Warner Brothers, and that's why we're already seeing a James Gunn Suicide Squad film that's coming out in the near future. We're going to see more of that on August 22nd at the DC Fandom, and it would be realistic, I think, for them to push that into the game pipeline, and I really do think that it's a pretty solid basis for a game. You look at multiplayer features, you look at gun features, it honestly would be a great way to expand and do something a little bit different. And you know, maybe you could customize your own version of these villains. Maybe you could customize your own team. That would be pretty cool if you could like assign snipers, assign brutes, assign characters with special abilities, assign melee characters. And to be able to have new control schemes for characters like Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Deathstroke, Bane, there's a lot of potential here. Now, you look at Rocksteady and what they were really pushing in Arkham Knight. First of all, they were pushing a tank that you could drive around, which doesn't really feel like Batman. It almost feels a little too lethal, even though you were just fighting unarmed or unmanned drones. The other thing that they were really pushing was dual play, a system in which you were fighting alongside multiple characters. So both from a gameplay perspective, in which Rocksteady could continue to alter and modify those systems and move forward in that sense, and also add multiplayer and all of that. It also, I think, makes sense for them from a tonal and storytelling perspective. Now, we don't know for sure if they're completely rebooting the Arkham universe. There are rumors and reports that that's the case, but again, I need to see proof from Warner Brothers themselves before I'm sold one way or the other. Now, if this is set in the Arkham universe, my guess is it would probably be some kind of follow-up to Arkham Knight. Maybe Amanda Waller organizes the Suicide Squad after, Batman disappears or something. Maybe it could take place before Arkham Asylum. I don't know that they'll really acknowledge the events of Arkham Origins, though. So, who knows? I really do think it will be dependent upon what this new Batman game is. If the new Batman game is in fact a reboot, then I do think that there's a very good chance that the Suicide Squad game will actually be set in that rebooted continuity and introduce us to a bunch of additional characters in this universe early on. And I also think that this would be a great way for Rocksteady to potentially mess around with some of these multiplayer and dual play features and sort of test basic mechanics for how a Justice League game would work. And the thing is, if you screw up a Suicide Squad game, it's not the end of the world. Of course, that would be pretty bad. It would kind of be a devastating blow. And I don't think they would, because I think that it really fits them so well. And everybody loves Rocksteady, and I'm sure that they'd put in so much attention to detail and so many vibrant and interesting locations and characters that I really have faith that they would deliver a good game. But, then they could see what works and what doesn't work for if they were to make a game like Titans or Justice League that could potentially be even bigger. And you also just look at the tonality of the Arkham games. Each Arkham game got pretty significantly darker. However, it was really difficult. Even though Arkham Knight was M, I think it was really difficult for them to really push it into territory that went too dark, just because it was Batman. Now, if you're making a game that's about the villains and that, you don't have to worry about not killing individuals, because this squad is going around and killing people and going on these missions, and it's showing something that they're very familiar with through a very different lens. And Rocksteady, I think, even though they were kind of tired of doing Batman, I don't know that they were necessarily tired of this more dark and gritty tone, for the DC universe. I really do just think that they want to look at it through a different lens, and I think that Suicide Squad is honestly a great place for them to do that. So if I'm being honest, I think that it's pretty realistic to say that there's a good chance that that's what they're working on. Again, I obviously can't confirm that. However, if that's the case, I honestly think that would be the perfect fit for Rocksteady, potentially even more so than a Superman game or a Flash game. I'm not saying that I don't think that Rocksteady would do a good job with those. I'm just saying that based on, what they did with the Arkham games, with the tone and thematic elements of those games, I think that going in the direction of Suicide Squad is honestly a pretty reasonable evolution for them to take. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.